What up, everybody? This is your boy Nico again. I don't think I've ever introduced myself on these videos, but now I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it. So once again, we're back with the M8 competition. On the last video, you've seen that I installed the DMEs that we got unlocked from Femto. But as I started thinking about it, I figured, you know what? I want to sit up here and run BM3, stage 2. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with stage 291 or I want to run Ethanol, E85. So just to kind of sit up here and not have to guess or whatever, I went and brought the Fuel It Ethanol Analyzer kit so that I could actually know if I decide to run ethanol, what my content is. So I'm gonna pan you over to what we got on the table and get into this whole install. And then it should only be like probably about a 30 minute install, but I'm gonna show you a very clean way on how to do it so that your inside isn't looking all janky and whatnot. But anyway, let's get into the video. And most importantly, if you learned anything from these videos or you appreciate these videos, I'm definitely proud.
But who stepped up? Me. I had to step up and I had to guide you and counsel you and hold you. Well, I feel like I'm your daddy.
Like I said, if you appreciate it, you want me to bring more videos to you, I want you to sit there, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
No, they're following me. I know. They think I'm crazy.
No, okay, we're going into the chasm of death. I'm going to lose you.
Yeah, I love you too. All right, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Okay, follow me.
All right, so let's go over the kit that you actually get from Fuel It. So you get 2 fuel lines. One of them is going to be a right angle. You get the Bluetooth adapter here. You get a wiring harness for it. And then we have another wiring harness that we're going to use for our ground and positive. You also get the ethanol sensor. Like I said, it's just a generic GM one, but it will work for our system. You get a little bit of lube in the package and you get a wire tap. Plus you get a nice little keychain out of that too. Now on the tools that you are going to have on your own, you're going to need an 810 millimeter for our airbox brace bolts, a 13 millimeter. You're going to need some wire strippers. Always like to have a little bit of zip ties, but most importantly, you're going to need either 6 millimeter M6 by 1.0. This can be a nut, but I actually have a coupler. And I got this wire loom off of Amazon, and it comes with a little bit of shrink wrap. I want to tighten up that wire harness so that it actually looks a little OEM. Next, importantly, you're going to need a 1/4 inch ratchet with an extension. We got our 10 millimeter, we got our 7 millimeter, and we got our 6 millimeter if you got the stock box. I'm using the 7 millimeter because I have the Dynon Turbo inlet. You're also going to have your 3/8 ratchet, another 3/8 extension. Most importantly, you're going to require a 16 millimeter open wrench and a 13 millimeter open wrench. We're going to need an X-Acto knife so we can cut into one of our harness so we can tap in for our 12 volt ACC so we're not having constant power. You're going to need a lighter for our shrink wrap, pair of scissors, and some electrical tape. So now we're going to get over now to the car so we can actually start taking things apart and show you how to do this. All right, so first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the battery on it. Now I did show you how to use hand tools, but I'm going to be a little bit more efficient and use my power tools because I'm not trying to be here all day. Just trying to show you that you can actually do this on your own. So let's get over and disconnect the battery. I understand there's going to be people that says, well, why didn't you pull the fuses and let the car run out? No, I am going to disconnect it. I am going to let the fuel out, and then we're going to get into the whole install. So let's go over here and disconnect the battery. Now, I have no idea why on the M8s removing this trunk piece is actually so damn hard. What I like to use is this nice little trim tool that has like a hook to it. Get over here, kind of scoop in under it, and then pull up. Once I got a good grip, I can yank up and pull this whole thing out. All right, so we don't need that anymore. Go ahead and use my 10 millimeter and start disconnecting the battery. Don't mind the extra wire in there. That's for my valve controllers for my exhausts, but go ahead. Right. Holy shit.
Do you think I would humiliate myself like this?
If it served your purpose, yes.
Damn it. Now that we got the negative terminal off the battery, I want to wrap that terminal up with some terry cloth or microfiber cloth. So we're gonna go over here, come inside, and make sure you take your connector, just wrap it around, and make sure that that doesn't touch anything, so it doesn't hit the negative post at all. And lastly, always be safe. Always be safe, and make sure that you actually tie a microfiber around this right here, just so that we cannot close our trunk. Trunk isn't going to close because I don't plan on it, but just be extra careful on this one. All right, so now we're going to get into the front of the car, start removing all the stuff that we need to, so I can actually start this install. Yeah, I'm just taking this pause right now because when I had the DMEs out for my last install, it would have been the perfect time to install this ethanol analyzer kit by Fuel It, because I had all the space in the world.
I really look like a guy with a plan. You know, I just do things.
Anyway, let me go ahead and get into this one. So first things first, we're gonna remove this 18mm bolt and this 13mm bolt. Like I said before, I'm running the Dynon carbon turbo inlets. So for me, these are 7mm nuts, but on your stock system, you'll have 6mm nuts here. So first things first, let's go ahead and remove our DME cover and our engine cover. I already have these loose already, so I don't have to waste time trying to make you people stick around longer than you have to, and try to speed this up as much as possible. But now we got more space to work with, and we're gonna get even more space once we start taking the rest of the stuff off. What we're gonna do is we're gonna replace the hose to our outer right side, driver's side, or more this way, right? You can see we have a clip connection here, and that line is going to now follow all the way over to our high pressure fuel pump at that yellow connection right there. So I'm gonna get the clip off, and after I get the clip off, make sure you put down some microfiber cloth, because this fuel will spray everywhere, and you don't want to get it all into your engine bay. So I'm going to get the clip off, and you can see me right now. You come in, you will see it's just pretty much, you can get it off with your hand. Don't drop it though, like me. Now with the clip removed, what we have to do now is we're going to push down on the hose, but at the same time, it'd be hard to probably focus in, but there's a black clip under there. Well, a black kind of spring loaded in there, and I'm going to show you after I get it off. But make sure you have your microfiber, because fuel's about to spray. Well, that's not that bad. All right, so what I was trying to show you was this guy right here. What you want to do is make sure that you push in like that. So you're going to push down and then lift your finger up, hold it down, and then pull it out. All right, so we're going to do the same thing on the high pressure fuel pump. So I know I just said we're going to put down terry cloth, but I actually want to remove this sensor right here first. It'll allow me to get more room to work with. This is one of those ones that have that gray clip where you have to push out first. Okay. After you got it out, you hear a click, you push down, and then you pull it out. So now that gives me a little bit more room to actually get my fingers in there to squeeze this guy to get the fuel line off. All right, so now we got our terry cloth in there, so that in case we spill any gas, I'm gonna go in here, push, and then pull off. All right, now we got the fuel line off, and yeah, let's go ahead and get the new one on. So we're ready to put the fuel line on our high pressure fuel pump first, but I want to show you the way this locks in place. And you're gonna need your 16mm. You see how it has the grooves over here? So you're gonna take your 16mm, get that off first. Once we have that off, we slip that onto our high pressure fuel pump, come back over, get in place, push down, and then this right here is what locks it in place. See your turn? That's locks it in place. You're gonna do that for 1 connection, 2 connection, and then we have the bigger holes over there. It's gonna be 2 more. But that's the method you're gonna use to actually lock the fuel line in place. All right, so what I like to do is I like to show a lot of detail, because when you buy things like this, sometimes you don't always get all the directions, and there's always the little pointers that can actually make a big difference. I want to come over here and show you the right angle one, where this part right here will actually go to your high pressure fuel pump. The one thing that I love that Fuelit did was they marked the actual size on the connector. So the 5/16 side is going to go to the high pressure fuel pump. You also have this line right here, which is going to go 5/16 again. That's going to go to our main inlet for the fuel to come in. Now, when you look over here and you see this size, this is 3/8, and the other end of the one to the high pressure fuel pump, that's 3/8 as well. When you connect to this sensor, you're going to use the 3/8 side on both of them like that. So once again, 5/16 to the factory high pressure fuel pump, 5/16 to the main fuel inlet point, joint, whatever. I know I'm not getting it right, but yeah, 3/8 to the sensor, 5/16 to the car. Just want to show that. Before we actually put on the right angle to the high pressure fuel pump, want to make sure that we actually lube up those pipes. You're going to lube up the high pressure fuel pump, and we're going to lube up the main connection line for when the fuel comes into the car. You don't really need a lot of it. Just go ahead and just dab a little, man. Just dab a little. You don't want to get all crazy with this. I'm over here saying lube. All right, so that's just enough. A little bit more over here. And this is just so, because we got gaskets inside of those things, and you don't want to roll the gaskets. And we're going to put some of this on our ethanol sensor as well. Like I said, not a lot. All right, so we're going to start with our 5/16. See on the end? Go ahead and slip that over the high pressure fuel pump. Make sure you push it all the way in there. And then we're going to come with our connector and lock all that into place. So finally, we were able to get that locking clip on right now. Guys, I'm not even going to lie to you. Because of the way the sensor is here, it's such a tight spot. That's a it was very much a pain in the butt to actually get that on. But everything from now should be smooth sailing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this sensor back into a spot, and then we will start to work on our other fuel line going over to our main connection. And I'm going to show you that piece in a minute. The next thing we're going to do is just make sure we put a little bit of lube on our sensor itself. This, right, like I said, this right here is to make sure that you don't roll the gasket that's right there on the fuel line, and that it actually just slips on nice and easy. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. Okay. Now, the other thing you want to be careful with, or be knowledgeable about, is that this white part is going to be facing this side of the DME. So go ahead and slip this guy on. All right. Let's get our locking tab in there. And we come in with our 16 millimeter. And this is the part that you didn't see at the bottom, but see that little point? You're gonna twist till it's in place. Now that ain't going anywhere. All right. We're gonna follow it out with the rest of the fuel line to the main connection, and then we'll come back. All right, so I'm gonna sit there and say it like this. I am a turn wrench guy. I really don't like electrical. So we got Ethan here. He is our fiber tech. I'm gonna let him do all the wiring up from this point on.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
All right, so we have this harness right here. This is the long one, with the brown connector and the black end. So the brown connector is going to go into our ethanol content analyzer sensor thingamajig. All right, so that plugs in there. But now we found this pretty nice little spot over here where you can actually just run your connector right into there. Let's see if I can get this right. All right, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to conceal this as much as possible. You know, try to make it look as OEM as possible. So what we found was if we put our Bluetooth analyzer and everything in here, it'll hide it pretty nice. So you have this brace bar that's right there. You can see Ethan going through. So we're gonna coil everything up all nice, like, you know, he's the fiber guy, so he knows how to coil some cables. So once he gets this all zip tied, looking pretty and whatnot, we're gonna go ahead and Velcro our Bluetooth portion of this one, which is this guy right here. We're gonna Velcro that to the firewall or the actual body of the car, but let me let him work and then I'll get back to you. All right, so Ethan finished coiling up all the cables. He got it looking nice and pretty. I'm gonna get a zoom up on this once he's all finished. But of that wiring harness, I remember I said brown connector here, we follow it all the way through. Now we got the black connector that go into our Bluetooth module. And I put a little bit of Velcro on the end of it because we are going to go to the body of the car, back in here somewhere. Anyway, let's go ahead and get that done. This cable right here, this is the final connection. So on this one right here, this goes from the Bluetooth analyzer, the back end of it, and it's gonna plug in, and this is how we're gonna get our power, right? So first, we're gonna have to cut this guy off because we're gonna go ahead and use our Posi tap to get into the 12 volt ACC. So that's a 12 volt where it's only got power when the car is on. It's off when it's car is not on. That way it's not draining the system. Now, of course, we got black. Everybody know black is for ground. But this cable right here, this is a signal cable for JB4. Most people probably won't be running JB4, but I'm not gonna go ahead and delete it. I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap this up with some black tape. That way I can, if I wanna sell it down the line, or maybe I'll get JB4. I highly doubt it, but I'm gonna get JB4. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little bit of black tape on it just to kind of make sure it's concealed, not in the way. But if you've been watching my channel, I told you that I am seriously got some OCD. So, all right. So I actually like this loom. This loom is pretty cool. I like it so much that I went on Amazon and I bought a whole roll of it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and, you can just go ahead and cut this now. So go ahead and bye. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make everything look pretty nice. I don't like how it's just all that black, red. I don't like it. So I got my loom here. Oh, I almost totally forgot. Let me go ahead and cut this guy right here in half. This is gonna be our heat shrink. Only half of that. All right. So let's go ahead and slip this over here now. Run my wires through it and get this at the bottom so that when I go ahead and get ready to heat shrink it, they all look pretty. Cool. And I got my positive and my negative coming through the opposite end of it. Now you don't have to do this. This is just a step that I want to do. So this right here is the final product of the Amazon loom with the Fuel It loom. See, I coiled back the JB4 connector inside of this loom. I've also snipped off my positive cable, and I'm gonna keep the ground one because it's the perfect size for where I'm going inside of that compartment over there. Anyway, I'm gonna get this on the car. I'm gonna show you the final connection, and I'm also gonna show you where we're gonna do our posi tap at for the 12 volt ACC. All right, let me get back to the car and I'll show you this. This is the last connection. Ethan's gonna make that one to the last connection on the Bluetooth. And then we're gonna try to get down in there to this cavity to actually show you where I'm actually tying off for the ground and tapping into the power wire. Coming in for our ground and our power connections, if you carefully cut away at this loom or this harness right here, you will come across a red and green power line. This power only comes on when the car comes on, so you don't have to worry about this Bluetooth analyzer actually draining it. So we're gonna do our posi tap here, and if you look over on this side, remember that coupling earlier in the video where I said I have a coupling, you can use a nut. You're gonna make sure that you do your ground, but make sure that you go behind the felt so that you actually get a good ground to body. So right now I'm gonna put the posi tap on this one, come back, do a little black tape, that way we can insulate it well, and I'll show you the next shot. All right, so I want to finish up all the power connections. I want to show you where we posi tapped at. See, so we got a nice connection there. Also want to show you where we Velcroed the Bluetooth analyzer and coiled up the cable. So if I ever need to go back in there, I could just pull it apart, you know, go ahead and maybe even the day I want to sell it or something. But nice, clean install. I got to give credit to Ethan. He did a bang up job. Now, only thing we're going to do now is put that cover on, get back over here to our fuel lines because they definitely need some tender loving care. So we're going to go ahead and tighten that up and then start to get everything put back together so we can start this car and get into the Bluetooth analyzer to see what content we have in the car right now. Ethan did a bang up job as far as how we ended up wiring the whole Bluetooth adapter. We found a nice, clean, disclosed place. We finally finished up the fuel lines, got those all nice and pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and just tell everybody in the video, just go ahead and reinstall your airbox. If you got turbo inlets like I do, reinstall those, and then go ahead, put your covers on, get back over to the back, put your negative cable on, and we're gonna go ahead and start to get into the whole app from Fuel on how it works. It's actually pretty cool options on it. So I actually want to bring you in and show you the final product of all this right here. We got everything back in place. We got our fuel lines all nice and buttoned up. We got our ethanol sensor right here. Can't wait to tap into that and see actually what this car is actually have inside of it. Especially when you're sitting here, you're running E. You want to make sure that if you're running an E30, E40, E50, that you know exactly what you are running. Of course, there's plenty of apps that tell you how much gallons of gas, how much gallons of E85, and that quote unquote should be. Now you actually know. And that's where we always want to be, because if you're running a tune and you're under that, you can do real damage to these engines. But that's the whole point of that ethanol sensor. So make sure you get one if that's what you're going to be doing. No guesswork. You actually know what's in there. All right, so lastly, we got to go to the back now and put our negative terminal back on. Yeah, that's the part, man. So now we're going to get some power. Ooh, woo. All right, let me go ahead and pan you down so I can show you where we are going to get that back on. All right, so final step of the process, we're gonna go ahead and install our negative terminal that we have wrapped up. Go ahead and get this guy off. It's the part I don't like. All right, screw this down. It's a 10 millimeter. And I have an additional screw because I'm running valve controllers. So what I do is, this is my negative ground for that. Got another screw here. That way, if I ever want to just take this off, I don't have to take the whole battery off just to get this negative terminal off. So for me, it's 2. For you, likely just going to be 1. All right, that's all done. Let's go ahead and fire this guy up. We reached to the point where everybody wants to see. So I'm gonna sit here and let Jarvis rip for a minute. Then we're gonna go pop the hood and check for any fuel leaks. Might be a little loud. I hope it comes through the mic because I have all my valves open right now. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. So now we're gonna sit here and check all the fuel lines, make sure that we don't have any leaks, because remember how Smokey the Bear said, only you can prevent forest fires or burning down your fucking BMW.
You just happen to be holding a match.
Hey! You're not gonna like that, are you?
Don't worry, folks. I'm a fire marshal.
So the areas of concern that you want to check, you want to make sure that you have your connectors. I know we locked them in place, but double check. Then come down there, not a single drip of fuel, not a drip on the lines. And then let's go over to our main feed line. Not a single drip. This right here is a job well done. Well, now we're in the car. I'm going to go over all the features of the Fuelit app. What you got to do is, they charge like $4.99 or $5 to actually access the app. But then we're going to go into all the different features of it so you can actually see how much ethanol you're running if you want to run, E30, E40, or you just want to stay on pump 92. Like I said, for me, this is just, I want to have the option to run ethanol. I don't want to be limited, but also because of the S63 TU4, I want to know exactly what I'm putting into my car. There's plenty of apps out there, tell you how much pump gas, how much E85, but I want to know. And it's a small investment for a lifetime of savings. So let's get over to the app. I'm going to show you how to work this. First off, let me start off by saying that if you plan on running Beamer Code, Beamer Link, MHD, BM3, Fuelit, JB4, anything where you're going to have to actually use your phone, I'm going to tell you the best thing to do is go ahead and go buy you a cheap tablet from Walmart or Best Buy and just have a dedicated thing that's actually going to be for your BMW. It's so much easier. All right, so for the Fuelit app, what we're going to do is we're going to hit connect. It's going to look for my device. And right there, it's telling me I'm running E29. So I wanted to dive into the app a little bit more. So great, we show that what ethanol content we're running. But now what are we going to use to actually gauge how much pump gas, how much ethanol? Well, Fuelit has an option in here. And you see over here with this calculator. Let's get back in there. You go to this calculator and right here, it'll tell you. So how much fuel are you in the car? What's your current content? What's the pump content? And what's your desired content? And not sure if I'm picking this up correctly, but it will tell you, okay, so you need to add so much E85, you need to add so much of regular pump gas. So this right here will calculate it for you. So if you're using 91 or in Washington where we got crappy ass 92, and on the East Coast, you guys are running 93. You go ahead and you put all your figures in there and it'll tell you exactly what you need to be adding to your gas tank to get the desired ethanol content you want. I think it's amazing that this app actually does that. It's all in one. All right, everybody. that completes this install. The M8 comp gets one more modification. And if you're wondering why I have E29 in the tank, that's for a future video. But I'm planning on going stage 2. Not sure if I'm gonna run E85 for E30 mix, or I'm just gonna keep it at pump gas. But my goal is to pump as much power out of this car as possible. And once again, like, subscribe, comment. And if you're in the Pac Northwest area, I'm in Seattle, you want some advice, or you just want to hit me up for comments or anything, let me know. I got no problem. I'm a BMW enthusiast. I love these cars. I have no problem helping anybody out. But like I said, I'm gonna squeeze her. I'm gonna squeeze her good. Anyway, stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.